Let me share this piece of information with you. In 2019, a study was conducted with the intention of valuing the global supply chain management industry and also trying to predict how it would grow over the coming decade. Now, what the researchers found was that in 2019, the year of the study, the supply chain management industry was worth around $15.85 billion, but by the year 2030, they predicted that the industry would be worth roughly $37 billion. In other words, they concluded that the industry was set to more than double in size in just 11 years. Of course, we are now in the early stages of 2021, and we are therefore at the beginning of this 11-year period of rapid growth. And this is actually huge for Vechain, and we're about to talk about why that is. But first, about 80% of you watching this video aren't actually subscribed to the channel, and we're doing monthly crypto giveaways for subscribers. All you have to do is subscribe and turn on post notifications, and then you're automatically entered from here on. Anyway, the reason as to why the fact that the supply chain industry is set to grow rapidly over the coming 10 years or so is so important to Vechain is because of something which the famous American investor Bill Gross once said. Now, for those who have never heard of this guy, Bill Gross is a billionaire investor, a self-made guy from my understanding, and he obviously knows what he's talking about. Now, Bill said that the number one factor above all else which influences whether a business is successful or a failure is timing. In other words, timing is the biggest factor which makes businesses successful, and so it makes sense to ask when considering making an investment in the crypto market or any other market as well. Is the timing right for this particular business or operation? And one of the big reasons as to why timing is so important, other than the obvious, is that when a business is operating in a rapidly growing industry like Vechain or in supply chain management, which is set to double in size over the next 10 years, it means that there is more growth to go around and less need to compete with others for that growth. Think about it like this: if I own a restaurant and in my geographical area the restaurant business is saturated and the industry is growing at say 2% per year, now if I want to grow my business at a rate faster than 2% per year, which most people who own businesses do, the only other way that I can grow is to win market share by outcompeting my competitors. And so that's what my business strategy is going to be based around. And of course, if everybody is doing this, rapid growth becomes very tough and very unlikely. But however, if growth is say 10% per year, I'm going to be a lot less inclined to try and compete with other businesses, because there is so much growth to be had just by focusing on my own business, and so competition is less fierce. And by the way, 10% may sound fairly low, but in the long term, a 10% compounded rate of growth will move mountains. Now, what will eventually happen in the rapidly growing supply chain management industry is that market signals in the form of rapid growth will incentivize other companies to enter the space, and competition will increase and growth will slow down. But there are a few reasons as to why I'm not worried about saturation just yet. First of all, there are barriers to entry to start up as a blockchain-based provider of supply chain management services. One of those barriers being that it's a niche area and very few firms have both the expertise in the area and the knowledge of blockchain to enter the space. Next, as in the case of many niche areas, it's very hard to knock the market leader down from the top spot on the podium, because in a niche area like this one, while the customers understand the service that they are getting, they don't necessarily understand how the product works as it's highly technical, and so if they have been with Vechain for a few years and the service which they have received has constantly been top-notch, it's unlikely that they're going to switch and risk losing the momentum and cost savings which they've already gained. Success reinforces brand value. Just imagine that you're traveling in a foreign country where you don't speak the national language, and you forgot to book a hotel and you need to get one quickly. You tend to go for the brand name which you recognize and have maybe used in other countries or heard good things about, even if the price is a bit higher, because the peace of mind is easily worth the extra cost. And the same principle is true in niche business areas like supply chain management, and so another reason that Vechain are likely to do well over the coming decade, in my opinion, is their ever-growing advantage on existing and future competition. You see, timing is so important in determining the success of a business, and I would struggle to find a crypto project in a favorable position as Vechain when it comes to timing. In my opinion, it's like the stars have aligned for this moment. The industry growth is rapid, it's a niche area where brand value means a lot, and Vechain are the market leader. And not only this, but digitization is occurring on a massive scale globally in every industry. And one of those industries growing rapidly is e-commerce, which has a long way to go, which means that the need for supply chain services, like those which Vechain provide, is likely going to experience strong growth not just over the coming decade, but long after as well. Anyway, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, and remember that you'll be automatically entered for our monthly crypto giveaways.